But yeah, that's what I thought about the movie. We had a good time.
That's what's up, man.
And then on Friday night, I went to this RnB Only event where they go across the country. They pick a bunch of cities throughout the country, and they just do a live set. They do a set. They interact with the crowd and everything, and they just, they let it rip.
How was it?
It was a vibe. I hate to complain because I've been wanting to go to this for years.
Yeah, bro, I've never been able to catch it.
I've been wanting to go for years, so I was so happy to get up in there and tap in and vibe out.
I remember the last few times you tried to go, something always was scheduled.
Something always would happen where I'm like, damn, I could get a ticket, but this going on, that going on, and whatnot. So I'm glad this time I actually was able to make it. It wasn't bad. The vibe was amazing. They was just letting people do what they do. It seemed like a lot of it was like karaoke vibes, and
that's cool. So it was like trap karaoke type, but R&B.
Similar. I like how how black and brown it was in there. That was a vibe, and everybody having a good time. So I love seeing our people kick it like that.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
The complaint I have, and maybe I'm just never satisfied because I'm a deep cut person. They was playing the stuff I expected to hear. They may have threw some stuff. They gave you options at a couple of times. Where on the stage, they have three of them up there. 3 songs from an artist like Jagged Edge. They may have Let's Get Married, I Promise, and Unfinite or one of them other popping songs of theirs. And whoever gets the loudest crowd reaction, they'll play the song. So I thought that was pretty fly. But they just... I don't think I heard no Chris Brown. I feel a way about it. And just they didn't do enough deep cuts. I'm not here to slander it because, again, it was a dope event or whatnot. But if I'm giving feedback...
Think about it this way. If you're on tour, right, and you're doing an R&B show, I feel like you're going to play it safe and not do deep cuts because the whole idea is you want... Like, even what they did with giving the crowd an option...
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, when it was the option of the 3 songs up there, I'm pretty sure you could guess which song was going to get the loudest applause before it won.
Yeah, that's true to some degree, but even
with that, that's your job.
Yeah.
As the show planner, your job is to play the song that most people want to hear.
And I dig that they're going to play, because they didn't do that the whole night, the options thing. I totally get that they're going to just, play songs that mostly everybody's familiar with because that's a big part of the purpose anyway.
Yeah.
But in my humble opinion, with R&B, since there's so much good R&B, if you're throwing an event for R&B heads, I believe it's okay to throw cuts in there from the artist. Like, you know what I'm saying?
See,
especially the really good deep cuts from people like, people like 112 or people like Breezy or people like The Weeknd. Other people got like fire ass deep. Party Next Door got fire deep cuts that will go. And if you're R&B heads, they're gonna be singing that shit too.
Yeah, I think the average person doesn't come for deep cuts, and I think the idea that if a person buys a ticket there, that they're an R&B head, that's a misconception. Like, I'm pretty sure, because think about it this way: the people that are putting their money behind a show like this, their job is to know what people want to hear.
Right.
And especially with as long as they've been doing this for years and years and years. Sure. At least 5.
Very successful. So who am I to critique? But that's just my feedback.
Well, no,
my experience.
I'm not saying who are you to critique. I'm saying more so like, let's break down the logistics of why they wouldn't do something like that.
Right.
9 times out of 10, those people paying for those tickets, they're paying for R&B only tickets. They're not paying for classic B-sides, blah, blah, blah. They want to hear, 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to hear records that they came to sing along with, that they know. A lot of people aren't there to hear records that they might not know. That's a risk that you take with the audience, that even if you do start playing that, let's say you play, but why? The question is, why sprinkle something in? Let's say you play a song that only 40% of your audience knows. Now, 40 is a large percentage.
Puts people onto it, and I think you'll get...
Now, wait. Let's address the point as you brought it up. So, putting people onto it. Did them people come here to sing along to a record or get put on?
I think both. Like, nobody came in there to be like, let me go in here and listen to stuff that I don't know. But what I'm saying is, going into an R&B event if See, again, I'm thinking that it's for R&B heads that like,
and it's not advertised like that. It's advertised for people who like R&B.
R&B.
So they're gonna play R&B that you like. They're not trying to break, like, it's not, this
Don't
is not
break no artists.
But not even just breaking artists. Even the idea of playing a record that's a B-side that I just gave you the number, right? 40% is not a small percentage of your crowd. If 40% of your crowd knows a record, but you just lost 60%, out of that 60%, what percentage of them care to be like, oh, even if the song's good, let's say the song is good. It's not about them leaving.
Go to the bar and go get a drink. If
it's not about them leaving, though. What the question is, if you got a choice, I'm giving you a choice in front of you. Either you're a DJ and we're playing a DJ video game. And in this video game, as you play records, it gives you the numbers of how it's affecting the crowd. Now, this next record, you got an option of playing a record that 40% know, and out of the rest of the remaining 60%, 20% are going to Shazam. 20% are going to not give a fuck, and 20% are going to be like, what the fuck is he playing? Now, you have a choice between doing that or playing a song that 85 or 90% know. Which one are you going to make the option of playing? As the DJ, you're going to keep hitting for that 80, 90. You're going to keep swinging for the fences. Because as an event that's billed as a nostalgia event, they're trying to hit you with nothing but the hits. They're trying to do it's a greatest hits show. That's what that show is.
And fine by all means, but since, in my opinion, I believe when you're playing the artist that the people love, like I said, the people you're expecting to hear Usher, you're expecting to hear certain artists. I do believe, since it's an R&B only event, it'd be fire to sprinkle in a deep cut that a good portion, a decent portion, maybe a small size portion, know the song, and the people who don't know it, 9 out of 10 of them probably gonna like it. 8 out of 10 of them probably gonna like it. I think that's fire to do that. I remember going, when DJs used to do that, sprinkle in a song that they know you ain't heard from this artist.
Why do you think DJs stopped doing that?
I have no idea. You know that stuff. You was in that business a little bit.
And I'm gonna tell you why DJs stopped doing that. Because when you play the risk game, it's always risk versus reward. That's why I try to hit you with the numbers. If I'm taking that risk of playing a record that 40% of people are gonna already know and love, and then you got the rule of 3. Out of every 3 people, you got the one person who don't give a fuck what you play. You got the one person who's gonna be like, I don't know what this is and I don't want to hear that shit. Then you got the other person who feels a whole different way. You have that option, or you can hit it out the park all the way through and get better reviews and get better turnaround. At the end of the day, this is a business, bro. And I get, like, as music heads, we'll be like, well, I want to hear you break records. I want to hear deeper cuts. I want to hear more, like, I want to be in a room with R&B heads. But that's not the room you. But that's not the room you in.
Shit sometimes is all I'm saying. Like,
I get it.
We already. I could have,
but that's not a business decision. That's not a smart business decision.
And I get that part. Respect to your opinion. I do believe, though, anybody who goes out to listen to R&B, let's say you're a person who goes clubbing casually, not even all the time, or you hit the bars and the spots casually, that and you go looking for that, right? There was nothing different about this event to going to a spot that's playing R&B most of the night, and that was what I kind of wasn't feeling.
Now I got a question. Why do you think that them people who are on tour,
I know what
are
you're
playing
doing.
the same set?
I already know what you're doing.
Like,
you're right, but why?
You're asking them to take. Right. You're asking them to take risks, right? That they're not getting a higher reward from.
I'm not saying make that a majority of your thing.
Even if it's not a majority.
Sprinkling that in there if people are already rocking out, having a good time to R&B, and this is for R&B lovers, and you playing a song from this artist that's just a deeper cut. Let's say they played Superstar from Usher or something like that. What do you mean? People are wilding. Like,
but Superstar's not a deep cut.
Like it kind of is, though. I mean,
no,
it wasn't a single.
That song was TikTok famous last year. That's not a deep cut anymore. That song had like millions of streams just a year ago.
All right, I got one better for you. Poppin', Chris Brown.
That's not a deep cut.
Yes, it is.
That's not a deep cut.
Yes, it is.
That is not a deep cut. You are out of your mind if you think
everybody knows Poppin', but it wasn't never a single.
But that's not a deep cut.
We all just grew up on that album, so
but that's not. But what I'm saying is that's not a deep cut, and you know it.
All right, Your Man Ain't Me. That's not a deep cut?
That is a deep cut.
And I guarantee 50% of that crowd would have been singing that shit. And I'm pretty I can stand.
And I'll give you that. And if you're playing that DJ Hero game and you got a choice between playing a song that 50% of the crowd is gonna love or 80% of the crowd's gonna love, what's the next?
The other motherfuckers that may not love this most likely gonna like it.
So are you gonna
have some?
Are we here to take risks?
Have some fun.
Are we here to take risks or are we here to work?
I get it, but have some fun a little bit. Put people to the test, because I'm in my mind I'm thinking, well, we're gonna really test y'all R&B heads tonight. I'm gonna play this song.
You think them people pay money to be put to a test? No, let's really break this down.
I don't like talking. I mean,
you think them
with your logic,
I
can't argue the logic and the logistics, the business game of it. Total respect to it. I just believe it could add another element, bro.
You're not wrong, but I think it's all about how these things are built. It's
R&B, and it should be for if you're an R&B crowd and an R&B head, yeah, there's gonna be songs that people just don't like. Even the ones that are popular that everybody knows may not like. So why not play an artist album deep cut, like I just said, like Your Man Ain't Me, where people, the R&B lovers, people is about to start bugging out or whatever over this record. Why not throw that in there, throw that in your mix? Throw a couple of those in your mix from certain artists and see what happens. Now, if people constantly are quiet and not enjoying themselves as you do that, you pivot, you never do it again. But I think at an R&B lover event, sprinkle in them deep cuts.
I'm not mad at the thought.
Sprinkle in them deep cuts.
I'm not mad at the thought, but I'm going to tell you this.
It was a fly event. I know I was going in. The event was fly. It was a good time. Everybody was having a good time. We all made it home safe. But I think they just could have added some deep cuts.
No, I'm not mad at what you're saying. I'm just letting you know that, especially if we're talking about year 6, year 7 into an event, right? If we're talking about an event that's been around that long, and they got people who tenured and this and that, I guarantee you year 1 and 2 there was niggas that was trying exactly what you talking about. And there's probably a reason them niggas ain't either A, ain't here today, or B, they're not doing that no more.
I would like to speak with the panel and find
you see what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and if I got to talk to them, I would like to know what they think about that, to be honest, and see if it match with what you're saying.
They're gonna hit you with the "we came to work." I get it, and I think with stuff like that, that's something you got to build. Like, let's say if you have a segment, right? If you have a segment in the show where it's like, okay, we're gonna hit y'all with like how we have our songs of the day, or this and that, or the did you know or whatever. You have to bill it like that just to sequester it and keep it safe. But if you're trying to like max out, which is what it sounds like they're trying to do every year, you're trying to get as many optimal yeses, as many optimal like perfect reviews as possible, as far as like every song that we played, you can't say we played a single song that was a dud, is what they're aiming. I don't get mad at that when they end up only going surface, because especially when you're trying to appease a large populace of people that you don't know individually, the safest way to do that is to knock it out the park every time. Like, I'm not mad at that.
I respect it, but now just speaking to some of these cities, not like a city like us, a city like Orlando, where they have R&B events all the time. I do believe another reason why, in my opinion, of they should throw the deep cuts in there is because you could go to R&B night damn near throughout the city, certain nights through the week, and get damn near everything you got right there. You could have went to Ember for what we got, but I was cool with the event. But I could have went to Ember for that.
No, I feel you. But the reason why is 9 times out of 10, both of them are trying to do the same thing.
Salute.
So that's usually how it works, man.